Welcome, family, to Brother from Another. If you're watching on Peacock TV, thank you very much. Good to have you. If you're listening on Sirius XM Channel 85, enjoy the fastest hour in radio, TV, podcasting, streaming, whatever you want to label this platform. It's all good. And if you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast, we appreciate you. I've got so many things I want to talk to our guest about today. We'll talk with Jarrett Bell, longtime great NFL writer for USA Today. I want to ask him, why a 64-yard field goal for the win? Denver, what are you doing? I want to ask Jarrett that. I want to ask Ashley Nicole Moss how she's feeling after some tremendous confidence pregame before Cowboys Buccaneers. And I want to talk to Charles Robinson about all things going around the NFL, including some of these superhuman players who think that, an injury is for other people. For me, it's just a minor roadblock. Before we get to that, though, I want to ask a question to the NBA. Adam Silver, let me ask you this. I'll be brief here, and we'll talk about this later in the show and later in the week. What do we accomplish? What did we accomplish with Robert Sarver? If you missed the news, Robert Sarver, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, he was under investigation. The NBA had an investigation going since November of 2021. That investigation came to a close. We found out the penalty today, and the penalty is a 1-year suspension for Sarver. 1 year, cannot represent the Mercury, the Phoenix Mercury, the WNBA team, cannot represent the Phoenix Suns, the team he has owned for 17 years. And he got a $10 million fine. And a $10 million fine is the maximum that can be handed out by the NBA. In addition, Sarver has to go to sensitivity training and talk about workplace behavior. And that's about it. I mean, essentially, that's about it. And that $10 million will go toward organizations that focus on race and gender in the workplace. Now, Sarver, I put it in the feed, NBA sent a message. What message did Sarver receive? The message sent by the NBA was, I guess it's a rebuke. But it could have been stronger. I mean, think about it. 17 years. Okay, they looked into his ownership, and and throughout his ownership, one of the things that, and this amused me, funny, not funny at all. One of the things he said is like, hey, he used the N-word 5 times, at least 5 times, but when he was restating something he heard somebody else say. I'm not saying this. I'm just telling you what somebody else said. Hey, I think this word is offensive and repulsive, but they said it. So let me just repeat what they said, even though I don't agree with it. Anyway, that was in the report. You can check it out. It's available online. So he used the N-word at least 5 times. He was a disaster my words, not the official words of the report. He was a disaster when it came to just keeping his composure in the workplace. He made inappropriate comments about people's appearance, particularly women. He made sexual comments in the workplace. That was him. And shockingly, the NBA, and this is so naive, the NBA says, now there was no evidence that he, in particular, had any kind of racial issues with him in the workplace. However, this is in their report, the report says that other people in the organization had issues with keeping their composure in the workplace, making inappropriate comments, sound familiar? Making inappropriate comments to women, and at times making racially insensitive remarks and culturally insensitive remarks. So, yes, Sarver, they didn't get him on it, but this is the environment that he has fostered. This is what his organization is known for. And you know what happens? Organizations tend to reflect their leadership. So maybe they weren't able to get him on it. I'm skeptical. I'll say it that way. I'm skeptical. If everybody else in the organization is doing it and they had evidence that they were doing it, but they couldn't get the boss on it, wow, what a coincidence. And last thing I say before we talk about something much more positive, and I talked to somebody I really enjoy speaking with, and Jarrett Bell, I'll say this. Let me ask you guys this question. Have you ever been to sensitivity training with people who don't believe they should be in sensitivity training? I have. I don't know what your experience is. My experience is those people who have been called into sensitivity training because they need it, but don't believe they should be there, they're hostile. They're hostile. And they will talk as if they are being victimized, as if the world is against them and they are in the right and everybody else is wrong. So I don't know what sensitivity training is going to do for Robert Sarver. A $10 million fine for a guy who has owned the Phoenix Suns, a very lucrative organization, who's owned them for 17 years, $10 million fine. I understand that's the maximum. I'm guessing he's not going to be hurting for long. We've been waiting for the results of this organization, for this investigation. And I say, wow, what were we waiting for? What did we accomplish? A lot more on this story. But as I said, let's talk about something more positive. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.